Into the realm of the PL-89, into the realm of the higher time, into the realm, into the realm, into the realm, into the realm. Into the realm. Into the realm of the PL-89, into the realm of the higher time. Into the realm of the Messiah time. Into the realm of the Messiah time. It is simple to sing of the tune. Match the sun up with the moon. With the sun and before the moon, as per Psalm 72. It's true. The two calendars are one, matching the moon up with the sun. Yaakov and Esau taken in tow, and with that our work it is done. It's fun. This is the PL-89. Gematria Quantum Thought Calendar for Thursday, February 26th, 2026. It's 22626. Has a nice ring to it, I think. It is also the 9th day of Adar of 5786. Yom Chamishi, the 5th day. Yom Chamishi. And the parsha of the week is Tetzaveh, the 20th parsha. And it is, the Daf Yomi is Menachot 46. And this is the PL-89 Gematriatic Thought Quantum Calendar. Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar. And it's the sun and the moon, like the song says. And it has a sun number and a moon number. And the sun number for today is based on the Gregorian calendar. Today is February 26th, the 26th day. The 26th day of any day in this dispensation, which means February 26th, or could it be, it was Shvat 26th, the same. The box that's printed 21 is the 26th day of the month. So 21 is our solar number, and our lunar number is based on the Hebrew calendar, because it's a lunar calendar. Well, basically, it has to do with the sun a little bit, but it is it's basically a lunar calendar. And the lunar number today, since today is the 9th of Adar, the 9th day of any given month, is going to be box with a printed with number 11. So the process is to add 11 and 21. It takes you to, of course, 32. So 32 is our PL-89 synthesis of the sun and the moon, and 32 is the starting point. And there's many different methods as to what you can do with that 32. I had different methods explained over the past almost 9 months now, but the mode I'm at now is the mode of infinite. It's not really infinite, but it's kind of infinite. When it hits the repeat, you can call it infinite, but there's some kind of repeat in a process of alphanumeric gematriatic conversion, and the process is like this. So we'll start with 32 because that's our number for today. So you write 32 out as a word, THIRTYTWO, and then that word can become a number, because gematria is all about turning a word into a number or a number into a word. So that's what's done. It's 32 becomes a number, and that number is 158. With a simple cipher, the English gematria cipher, it's pretty standard by now. It's just A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. If you do that, then 32 becomes 158, meaning like T is the 20th letter, and you add that way. T is the 20th letter, H is the 8th letter, like that. You add all those letters, the order number that they are in the alphabet, you add them together, and then that comes to 158. Then 158 can become a number, right? 158. But then you write that out. 100, ONEHUN, right? And then FIFTY, EIGHT, and then that becomes a number. And then that becomes a word, number, word. And it gets to a point, in my study of this, it comes to a point where it hits the crucial number where I call it, for now, I'm calling it the event horizon. It's patterned after the idea of event horizon in a black hole is like the point where, I don't know if it's theoretical or if it's real or if it's based on mathematics or science or whatever, but the idea is, the way it's explained is that once something crosses the event horizon, it's a point of no return. It's the border where once that is crossed, it's already in the black hole. It's never coming out. The gravity is just too strong in this black hole that there's no way out. So I borrowed that idea, and I might have to pay it back with great interest, but I'm just kidding. But I borrowed that. I'm using that idea to describe this number that, in this process I just described, of word, number, word, word, number, word, number, word, number, word, you get to a number where only about 3 or 4 iterations afterwards, 4 tries for that same process, it comes back to that number that it was 3 numbers ago. So then it becomes a loop of 3 or 4 numbers. That's like the infinity loop. That's how it could be infinite. But I compare that to a repeating decimal kind of calculator. It seems similar to me, only because it goes around in circles, and it's experimental. It's an experimental form of mathematics. I don't know if this mathematics has a name. This is not really arithmetic, although it's kind of arithmetic because it's not. Is it algebra? I don't think it's algebra. You're not really solving any equations. What you're doing is it's gematria. Some people might call it numerology, but it's really not numerology. If you study numerology, you're looking at a word and a number, or you're looking at this number means this thing. It can be applied to numerology, but it's really I really think it's a form of mathematics, and it might be pure mathematics. It might be numbers for numbers' sake. That's probably the closest thing that I can think of, even though I probably don't have a very good understanding of pure mathematics. I mean, I saw a little bit of the movie of Ramanujan, The Man Who Knew Infinity, I think. And the way pure mathematics is described, just from this very topical, just from this very surface explanation, is that it's numbers for numbers' sake. So it's a combination of gematria and pure math, it might be. And to know that there are certain numbers that bring you into the loop faster. Like, for example, I discovered the number 255 takes you to 240, but you can get to 240 from, let's say, 281, I think. But in this process, like if you write it into a word. And the thing is, it's not limited to English. You can do it with Hebrew too. I'm just doing it in English because English is my most well-known language. But you can do it. That's why it's mostly mathematical. It's a process of numbers that turn into a different number, and then there's a pattern that happens. Now these patterns, I mean, it's sort of like I want to find out how they can be applied. There can be an application to these patterns in language or with something. It could be an algorithm. It could be something for social media. It could be something. And I'm completely fixated on this idea of turning a word into a number to a word, and then finding that event horizon. like I mapped this thing out for 74. I'll give you an example if you want it. If you've made it this far, okay. 70. Hold on. 74. Okay, I'll just read it through if you're interested. Okay. Here it is. Here's the whole map. Oh, picked the wrong one. Okay. 74, I took it all the way through. It's almost like reading 74 equals 170. Here we go. I'll read it through. Okay. This is the PL-89. This is what it is. This is the study. Okay. It's almost like reading a lineage, like the genealogy of someone. 74 gives birth to 170. 170 gives birth to 218. Why? Okay. There's some ground rules, but this first mapping, this initial mapping, I mapped out on the 7th day of Adar, which is very interesting because I found, just on the street, I found 120 shekels. That's not your usual thing. No one was in the street. I looked all around. No one was there. It was on the street in the gutter. If I don't take it, someone else will. And so anyway, if the person who lost it, I pray that they get it back soon. They don't get too distraught over it. If they're a little kid, maybe they were probably very upset. But anyway, I did this. It came from 120 equals 215. I took 215 to the end. But here's what I did for 74. Okay, this is the whole genealogy. 74 equals 170, which means if you write 74 as a word, SEVENTYFOUR, okay, it becomes 170. 170, and I'll just stop saying the whole thing. I'll just, if you write 170 out as a word, ONEHUNDRED, SEV, right? It becomes 218. Okay? Becomes 205, becomes 174, becomes 278, becomes 291, becomes 253, becomes 254, becomes 258, becomes 247, becomes 281, becomes 240. 240 is the event horizon. Why? Because once you cross 240, it will become 216, that's 1. It will become 228, that's 2. Will become 288, that's 3. Will become 255, that's 4. Will become 240. So 5 iterations will take you back to 240. Will become 216. Will become 228. Will become 288, 255, 240. So then it becomes 240, 216, 228, 288, 255, 240. 216, 228, 288, 255, 240. And then it circles around those 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, if you call it 4 iterations, but the 5th one is already back to the first one again. So I don't know how you want to call it, but you can see either way. It's either 4 iterations or 5, depending if it's like, Ajwa Bichlal or Avlo Bichlal. So anyway, so that's the process. I ran the process through for 74. 74 is a very special number in the system. And let's see here. Yeah, you wrote it all out. I wrote the loop out. The loop out is 240 to 240, and then like 2, and then here's just one more rule, is that you can write, when you're writing out a 3-digit number, that's obviously in the hundreds, there's different ways you can write it. And there's a protocol, there's a format which I use, but you don't have to use it. You can use your own format. I just happened to use this because this is what came to me as the most conducive, but you can do with anything. I write out, let's say the number 240, I write it 2, TWO, 100, 40. Those 3 words. You could write 240, you could write 240. There's different ways you can write that number. But the accepted protocol in this study is to write 2, 140. That's it. So that's, and I'm sure if I would have added "and" to it, it would. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing if it would have been 240, it would have been, maybe not. Maybe it would take longer because that's an extra, and is an extra 19. So then it would be 216 plus 19. So we're looking at 235. And 235 doesn't necessarily loop in this way. So maybe it would go another few tries and it would hit another number. I notice there's other numbers that loop this way that only swing around after, but you'll always get to, you can get to 240 in many ways. You don't have to get to it through 281. You can get through of course 255, and there's probably other ways you can get to 240. So that's the PL-89 study for now. If the mathematician sees this, I'd really like to hear from you, if you have some time to comment on what kind of math this is.